What if I told you the United States is hiding secrets in plain sight, massive underwater canyons deeper than the Grand Canyon, towns where the sun never sets in summer, and lakes that disappear overnight like magic tricks of nature? Most people think they know US geography, but trust me, you're about to have your mind blown. These aren't your average trivia facts, these are jaw-dropping, brain-tingling facts about the hidden wonders, oddities, and extremes of American land, water, and borders that will change how you look at the map forever. From a town that touches 4 states at once to an island inside a lake, inside an island, inside a lake, inside another island. Let's take a wild ride through 25 insane US geography facts you've probably never heard before. 1. The US has a bigger canyon than the Grand Canyon underwater. Most people think the Grand Canyon is the deepest natural chasm in the US, but think again. The Monterey Canyon off the coast of California plunges over 2 miles deep under the Pacific Ocean, deeper than the Grand Canyon itself. 2. You can stand in 4 states at once. At the Four Corners Monument, you can stand in Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico all at once. It's the only place in the US where 4 states meet at a single point. 3. Alaska is so big it could fit 22 states inside it. Alaska is the largest state by far. In fact, if you overlaid it onto the lower 48, it would stretch coast to coast. You could fit 22 of the smallest US states like Rhode Island, Delaware, and Connecticut inside Alaska, and still have room to spare. 4. There's a town in Alaska where the sun doesn't set for 85 days. Welcome to Ukqiagvik, Alaska, where the sun rises in May and doesn't set again until late July. That's over 2 months of daylight in a row, no sunsets, no stars, just endless day. 5. But in winter, they live in total darkness for 65 days. Flip the calendar to November, and the sun sets in Ukqiagvik and doesn't rise again until January. Imagine living in 65 straight days of total darkness. 6. The US has its own Sahara Desert? Yes, seriously. White Sands National Park in New Mexico features dunes made of pure white gypsum crystals stretching for 275 square miles. It's one of the largest gypsum dune fields in the world. 7. The Mississippi River flows backwards sometimes. During massive floods or hurricanes like Hurricane Katrina, the Mississippi River has been known to reverse its flow, with water surging upstream for hours at a time. Nature literally hits reverse. 8. There's a town that's legally in 2 states at once. Bristol sits right on the border between Virginia and Tennessee. In fact, State Street runs down the middle. Stand on one sidewalk and you're in Tennessee. Cross the street and you're in Virginia. 9. The US has a volcano that's erupting underwater. The Kik M. Jenny volcano is an active submarine volcano located in the Caribbean Sea, part of US territory via Puerto Rico. It's erupted 12 times since 1939 underwater. 10. Lake Superior is so big it could cover North and South America in a foot of water. Lake Superior isn't just great, it's massive. Holding 3 quadrillion gallons of water, it's the largest freshwater lake by surface area on Earth. You could cover both continents with a foot of its water. 11. The US has an island in a lake, on an island, in a lake, on an island. Mind-bending geography alert. There's a tiny island in Canada's Lake Huron called Island Royale, owned by the US. Inside it is a lake, which has an island, which has a pond, which has a teeny island. It's real-life Inception. 12. Death Valley is hotter than the Sahara. In 1913, Death Valley, California, recorded a mind-melting temperature of 134 degrees Fahrenheit, still considered one of the hottest temperatures ever recorded on Earth. That's hotter than many places in the Sahara Desert. 13. The US is the only country with 8 climate zones. From the Arctic tundra of Alaska to tropical rainforests in Hawaii, deserts in Arizona, alpine zones in Colorado, and humid subtropics in the southeast, the US is home to 8 different climate zones, a rare phenomenon. 14. Missouri has more caves than any other state. Known as the Cave State, Missouri has over 7,000 documented caves. Some of them go hundreds of feet underground and contain entire underground rivers and ecosystems. 15. There's a US town with a population of just 1. Welcome to Manawi, Nebraska, town with only 1 resident. 90-year-old Elsie Eiler. She's the mayor, librarian, bartender, and sole voter. 16. The US has a town named Boring right next to Dull. No joke, Boring, Oregon has a sister city called Dull, Scotland. Together, they celebrate their international bond as the League of Extraordinary Communities. 17. Hawaii is moving closer to Japan. Thanks to plate tectonics, the Hawaiian Islands are drifting about 3 inches northwest every year, slowly inching their way closer to Japan. 18. The Appalachian Mountains are older than the dinosaurs. The Appalachians are 480 million years old, more than twice the age of the Rocky Mountains and even older than the dinosaurs, which roamed only 230 million years ago. 19. The tallest mountain in the US is also taller than Everest if you count from base to peak. Mount Everest might have the highest elevation above sea level, but Mauna Kea in Hawaii is taller when measured from base to summit, 33,500 feet total, beating Everest's 29,000 feet. 20. The US has a town that was nearly swallowed by a sinkhole. Bayou Corn, Louisiana was abandoned after a giant sinkhole measuring 34 acres wide appeared overnight in 2012. It is still growing today and bubbling with gas. 21. Florida is the flattest state, not Kansas. You've heard the jokes about Kansas being flat as a pancake, but the real flattest state? It's Florida, with its highest point only 345 feet above sea level. 22. There's a hidden border between the US and Canada that's constantly moving. The international boundary through the Great Lakes and rivers actually shifts over time, depending on water levels and erosion. That means GPS coordinates for the border literally change slightly every year. 23. The US has a ghost town inside a volcano. Crater Lake, Oregon is the deepest lake in the US, formed in a collapsed volcano. Near it lies the abandoned town of Fort Klamath, once thriving, now eerily empty and surrounded by volcanic peaks. 24. You can cross into Russia from the US if you're brave enough. At their closest point, the US and Russia are just 2.4 miles apart. Little Diomede Island and Big Diomede Island sit on opposite sides of the international date line. You can literally see tomorrow from Alaska. 25. The US is so big, it has 2 uninhabited time zones. Most Americans live across the familiar 4 time zones: Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. But the US also officially includes 2 more time zones: Hawaii Aleutian and Samoa Standard Time, which are largely uninhabited, vast oceanic areas.